Good afternoon and welcome to RMU Live. Today is Monday, October 5th. I'm Ethan Morrison.
And I'm Colby Sherwin. Here's what's happening now. President Donald Trump remains in the hospital after his positive COVID-19 test. From the doctor's prescription, symptoms have begun to rise, and the medical team has prescribed him a steroid that has been used to help the immune system, but also has killed many COVID-19 patients.
Dr. David Nace, Chief Medical Officer of UPMC Senior Communities, gave us insight on what the experimental drug cocktail given to President Donald Trump actually was. President Donald Trump received a single 8-gram dose of Regeneron's polyphenol antibody cocktail. Nace said, quote, "In this situation, when you're dealing with the President of the United States and potentially very serious outcomes, it seemed like a reasonable choice," end quote. Nace also stated that while the medical field is still learning about the impact this type of treatment has on the coronavirus, it has been used for other conditions like rheumatoid arthritis and certain types of cancer. This antibody cocktail is part of a larger program for treatment of hospitalized COVID-19 patients and prevention of the infection for people who have been exposed to the virus.
Pennsylvania had 1,891 new cases of COVID-19, bringing the total number to 168,000 cases in Pennsylvania. There also was 16 new deaths, leading the total number to be 800,287 deaths in Pennsylvania. Allegheny County had 204 new cases of COVID-19 and no new deaths. White House Press Secretary Kelly McEnany announced on Twitter that she has tested positive for COVID-19. Quote, "I tested positive for COVID-19 on Monday morning while experiencing no new symptoms," end quote. On Sunday, she spoke to reporters with no mask on.
There are 9 confirmed COVID-19 cases on the campus of Robert Morris University as of October 2nd. Along with the 9 positive coronavirus cases, 1 student is in isolation while 9 students and 3 employees are in quarantine. Just days after the first national debate, news broke across the nation that President Donald Trump had been diagnosed with COVID-19 and was being transported to the Walter Reed Medical Center for treatment. With the president's health potentially causing a stir in this election, RMU Century Media's Nick Hederick asked the campus community here at Robert Morris what their opinions were on the constantly developing story.
Americans woke up Friday morning to the news that President Donald Trump and First Lady Melania Trump had contracted the coronavirus. I talked to RMU students over the weekend to find out what their reaction was to this news.
When I saw that he was diagnosed, to be honest, I wasn't really surprised, because I feel like it's just one of those things, like everyone's gonna really get it at some point, I feel like, you know what I mean?
Students across campus shared similar sentiments about the president's health this weekend, looking at the COVID-19 diagnosis as a learning experience for the American people and hoping for an optimistic outcome for Donald Trump. More than just a talking point during the election, COVID-19 safety measures have been neglected by many in the country due to opposing beliefs about wearing masks in public spaces. After the White House confirmed an outbreak among their top officials, this debate has been reignited. Senior accounting major Jed Bartos said that the diagnosis was not a surprise given the president's public anti-mask stance.
I mean, I really wasn't shocked. I mean, if you always see him in his campaign rallies, there are massive crowds hoarded around him. Barely any of them had masks, including him, so it didn't really come as much of a shock.
The president's re-election campaign rallies, which critics often call super spreader events, have also been under fierce scrutiny for outbreaks of COVID-19. Crowds for the rallies have often surpassed the local laws on gathering sizes, including his recent visit to Pittsburgh. While his status as a celebrity and politician sets him apart from the general public in many people's minds, his human side has also been made apparent by his hospitalization at the Walter Reed National Military Medical Center. For sophomore engineering major Shane Kiefer, this serves as a reminder that the virus can potentially infect anyone.
It really is just another person getting it, no matter how many precautions they took for the president. It's really just, it's a virus. We can't see it. It doesn't really care who you are.
Computer and Information Systems major Matthew Kirsch shared a similar stance, saying that despite preparations, everyone is likely to know someone who has had the virus.
I mean, you can try to be safe and do everything you can to try to keep yourself from contracting it, but at one point or another, I feel like it's just it'll make its rounds, honestly.
Looking past the president's recovery, students shared their thoughts on how this will affect America's preparation of COVID-19 prevention methods. Kirsch explained that the president's hospitalization won't make a significant change to the public's attitude, especially with Americans struggling with current guidelines.
No, I don't think it's going to change anything, honestly, because I mean, I feel like most people are already trying to do everything they can
Bartos anticipates a change coming from those hesitant to wear masks, especially those following the president's lead.
Most likely, because most of his Trump supporters were like, oh, it's not going to happen to him. This could never happen to him. It's not going to happen to us.
RMU students shared hope that the president will recover from the virus and keep the election on track for November 3rd, with the illness serving as yet another stepping stone in the landmark 2020 election.
No, I think everything's going to stay on schedule, to be honest.
President Trump remains at the Walter Reed Medical Center. For further updates on the president's health, be sure to stay tuned to RMUCentralMedia.com.
While the status of the president is ever shifting, most recent reports confirm some success in his treatment and portray him on a healthy path to recovery.
Veteran students at RMU will have a licensed psychologist. The program is known as Veterans Integration to Academic Leadership. It will offer counseling to veteran RMU students. Sabrina Hackham will head the program. Engineering professors and students at RMU will have a career panel for high school students from grade 9 to 12. The session will run through PA Cyber Schools, and it will take place later this month.
Associate Professor of History Soren Fanning is hosting the first ever RMU Honors Roundtable of the semester on October 7th from 3 to 4 p.m. The presentation is titled A Familiar Demon, Why Authoritarians Are on the Rise and What Can Be Done. All students, faculty, and staff are welcome to the roundtable. Join former Rooney scholars and an RMU faculty member in a virtual panel discussion on the social impact of the COVID-19 perspectives from Sweden, Nigeria, Switzerland, and the United States. The panel is scheduled for Wednesday, October 7th from noon to 1 p.m. To fill us in on more RMU-related content, let's toss it over to Adam Maluso to give us the latest on Colonial sports.
Adam, what do you have for us?
Thank you, Colby. Thank you, Ethan. Well, the Colonials have seen a flurry of action this past week, both on the ice and on the field. In regards to men's hockey, a former Colonial has signed in the East Coast Hockey League as defenseman Sean Giles has signed with the Cincinnati Cyclones, who are affiliated with the Buffalo Sabres of the NHL and the Rochester Americans of the AHL. In his 4 seasons at Robert Morris, Giles compiled 25 points through his 131 games, breaking out in his senior season with 1 goal and 6 points while blocking 75 shots. Congratulations to Sean. Also on the ice, the men's hockey team announced Thursday that they have added assistant coach Mike Corbett to their staff for the upcoming 2020-21 season. So just who are they getting in such a coach? Well, Corbett comes off a 7-year head coaching stint at the University of Alabama at Huntsville, where he helped turn around the struggling Chargers, leading them to their first ever Western Collegiate Hockey Association tournament berth in 2015, before qualifying back-to-back in 2017 and 2018, the latter involving forcing a deciding Game 3 in the quarterfinals against Northern Michigan. Before serving at UAH, Corbett also served as an associate coach at a familiar foe to Robert Morris, the Air Force Falcons, during the 2012-2013 season. Over his time in Colorado Springs, Corbett won the Atlantic Hockey Association title 5 times. He also has experience as a former player, suiting up for the University of Denver as a defenseman from 1992 to 1997. And lastly, on the field, the RMU women's lacrosse team announced that they have named their 3 team captains for the upcoming spring season. After a vote of team members, 5th-year seniors Caitlin Miller and Mackenzie Gandy, in addition to first-time co-captain and senior Hannah Miller, will head the team in the Mid-American Conference during the 2021 campaign. In the studio, I'm Adam Maluso, RMU-TV Sports.
Thanks, Adam. Superintendent Dr. Matthew Harris announced that Level Green Elementary School will be closed for 14 days as of October 3rd after 5 staff members have tested positive for COVID-19 in the past 2 weeks. No students have tested positive for the virus at the elementary school. The Pennsylvania Department of Education and the Department of Health will decide the reopening date, but as for now, students will receive remote instruction for the next 2 weeks. 6 notices of violation and 4 warnings were given to local establishments for not following COVID-19 orders. During recent coronavirus compliance checks, Pennsylvania State Police handed out violations and warnings to Pittsburgh area licensed liquor establishments. The Pittsburgh State Bureau of Liquor Control Enforcement Office issued notices and warnings after visiting 241 licensed businesses. These checks could happen anywhere in the state, but are mainly focused in areas with higher COVID-19 transmission rates.
There's nothing there. A train was derailed in Pittsburgh. The line was missing, and the train was not able to continue. Crews are working to get it back.
At least 4 firefighters were injured while battling a 4-alarm fire on Mount Oliver Street Sunday evening, according to Pittsburgh police. The firefighters were taken to a local hospital. 2 of them have shoulder injuries, another is being treated for a laceration, and the 4th is being treated for burns. Firefighters discovered a fully involved fire at 38 Mount Oliver Street, which was active toward the back of the building. The fire was mostly contained to one house, but spread to 2 homes on Mount Oliver Street, and 2 parts of 2 structures collapsed. Everyone in the affected homes were evacuated, and an investigation is ongoing.
There was a shooting, leaving 2 going to a local hospital. According to local police, Kevin McClinton gave himself up to police. McClinton is accused of getting into a road rage incident on Friday on Banksville Road. Police say he ran his car off the road while he shot a man and a woman. He's in Allegheny County Jail and is facing several charges, including attempted homicide and aggravated assault.
Now let's toss it over to Austin Bechtold, who is outside to give us a picture into what we can see later today.
Austin, what do you have for us?
Thank you guys, standing out here with a little bit of sun peeking through the clouds. Mostly it's cloudy today. We've seen some darker clouds. Today's high is 60 degrees. We have a low of 39, and at points of me standing out here, it's felt closer to that 39 than it has to 60. Humidity is 65% and only a 10% chance of rain, but we have seen some darker clouds today. Today's hourly forecast at 3 o'clock today, it's going to be 56 degrees as your high, and it's going to be cloudy going into 6 o'clock as well with a high of 58. The sun may peek out later on in the afternoon, and the high at 9 o'clock will be 51 degrees. Now we'll send it back over to the desk. Ethan and Colby, take it away.
Thanks, Austin. Coming up after the break, Pat Toomey announces he will not be running for re-election.
And now Joe Biden removes all his campaign ads after attacking President Donald Trump.
Over. Chance high 5. All right.
When you adopt a shelter pet, you discover all the things that make them unique.
And your mother
I am totally a hot person. Right, guys? Thanks for being honest. They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love. Adopt pure love at theshelterpetproject.org.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. Why? My. Oh.
STEM is precise, no margin for error.
Dare to forget that. Dare to have fun with it. Get weird with it. Dare to send those old STEM theories flying past the neighbor's house into outer space. Dare to program something internet-breaking, record-breaking. Dare to blow their minds. Dare to learn the difference between sedimentary and metamorphic rock. Go find those rocks. Dare to keep daring. Dare to STEM. Check out She Can STEM to get started.
Welcome back to RMU Live. Ohio police say a man has been charged with shooting a gun at another driver on the interstate at a parade supporting Donald Trump. Police say 58-year-old Todd Crawford of Homer was charged with discharge of a firearm near a premises, a third-degree felony. Nobody was injured during the shooting. U.S. Senator Pat Toomey will not run for re-election for governor in 2022. Toomey, who was elected in 2010, was then re-elected in 2016 and decided not to run or go for re-election when his current term ends.
A possible second stimulus bill is in the works as time is running short before the election. House Democrats unveiled a revised stimulus bill that could ease many challenges Americans are facing during this economic crisis due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Some proposals are familiar with another round of checks of $1,200, and additionally $600 will be given for weekly unemployment benefits from the federal government. It is not clear how the news of President Trump testing positive for the COVID-19 virus will affect the outcome of the negotiations, but members of the House are itching to return to their districts to campaign, so the window for getting a deal done is closing fast. President Donald Trump's campaign followed through on a threat to sue Philadelphia, filing papers in the court Thursday night over city officials preventing campaign representatives from watching voters register or fill out mail-in ballots in the election offices. President Trump stated that the only way he can lose this crucial battleground state of Pennsylvania is that if Democrats cheat, which he suggests that Democrats need to be watched very closely for election fraud. This is at least the second lawsuit filed in Pennsylvania by the Trump campaign in an effort to expand poll watching rights and limit how counties collect mail-in ballots.
Democratic candidate Joe Biden says he will pull all attack ads on President Donald Trump. Biden's campaign says it has nothing to do with the president's COVID-19 infection. It will take a few days due to the fact that some ads are in circulation.
A fight broke out in Homewood that ended up with 2 people shot at 3:00 p.m. on Saturday. Witnesses told police that a fight broke out on the sidewalk of Frankston Avenue within a group of about 25 people. During the fight, 2 people began shooting at each other, and a man and woman were both shot. They were both taken to the hospital after the shooting, but neither were identified. 2 fires broke out in the same neighborhood, causing 4 people to lose their homes. According to the release, the first fire broke out around 1:15 p.m. in the 1200th block of Lincoln Avenue in Homewood. Just after that, fire was extinguished, and the same group of firefighters were called to the 1500 block of O'Brien Street. 1 firefighter was taken to the hospital for a knee injury, but is expected to be okay. Both fires are under investigation.
As time goes on, controversy began to ride over our country's founders, continuing to grow. RMU-TV reporter Jonah Hoy tells us how one organization in Pittsburgh is tackling this topic.
After continued controversy surrounding the historical figure, the Pittsburgh Art Commission has called for the removal of Christopher Columbus from Schenley Park. With the Pittsburgh Art Commission unanimously voting to remove the Christopher Columbus statue, the fate of the Christopher Columbus statue is in the hands of the people of Pittsburgh.
Honestly, that sounds great. I hate Christopher Columbus. I think loads of people do at this point who know anything about American history, and he doesn't need to be over there. I don't need to see him any more than I already do.
Several people at Schenley Park consistently spoke out against the statue, saying that history is changing and the old narrative of Christopher Columbus is no longer universally accepted.
I think that it kind of represents something that, a lot of us were taught in school that might not entirely be true, and I think that, it's okay to say, hey, we spent all this time celebrating Columbus Day and Christopher Columbus, but to take a step back and say, hey, that's not really how it works. So I think it's okay to, take a step back and really take a different view of it.
While many at Schenley Park spoke out against the statue, not all wanted to see it destroyed.
I'm from the South, so I know a lot of slave owner statues have been going down. I think we should put them somewhere to talk about, we used to glorify these people, but now we understand that they were human rights criminals and stuff. So maybe not destroy, maybe just put them somewhere so we still remember who these people were, but it could also show how we've changed the society.
Some mention a historical significance behind the artwork. While similar statues are being torn down all across the nation, some people are debating whether or not they should be replaced by different historical figures, or if there are other important issues in the country that should be handled first.
It's hard because I know people of Italian descent are upset because they feel an icon's going down. So I don't know, especially right here with everything that's going on with the Black Lives Matter movement and everything. I don't know who I would put the statue up with.
So far, it appears that Pittsburghers believe that the statue's removal is the right move to make.
I feel like it's more symbolic than anything, and I think that symbolism can go a lot of ways, can go a long ways in changing how people have like different outlooks on a lot of things. So I think that while it may not actually change anything, it's a good step to take.
Pittsburgh Mayor Bill Peduto has yet to give his final word on whether or not the statue will be removed from Schlendly Park. I'm Jonah Hoy for RMU-TV.
Mayor Peduto says the final decision for the statue will come after he hears from the city's people.
When we come back, Adam Malusa will break down the latest in sports. Stay tuned.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made her college years happen. Opening that education savings account when she was little. Spearheading a campus tour. And another, and another, and another, and another. Bam! Deciphering financial aid. She was like, what? And now she's like, you aced planning for college. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
Jason, let's go see your room.
No, that's not right. How was it? Is it good?
Things could be stranger, but I don't know how. I'm going through changes now. Could spend a lifetime trying to figure it out. I'm going through changes, through all of the strangeness. I'm going through changes now.
Welcome back to RMU Live. Steelers offensive lineman Gerard Jones has been arrested. Jones is in Allegheny County Jail. Police came to his house and arrested him after him and his girlfriend got into an altercation where he grabbed her and threw her out of the house. She's in a local hospital and is in stable condition. Former Pittsburgh Pirates and Miami Marlins catcher Francisco Cervelli has retired right after the Marlins defeated the Cubs in the wildcard round. Cervelli, in a post on Instagram, said, quote, "Today I want to share the difficult decision I've made in my career to end my career as a professional baseball player," end quote. Cervelli spent 4 years in Pittsburgh. He ended his post with a shout out to his former Pittsburgh walk-up song with, quote, "That's Amore." He also had a separate post for Pittsburgh. Congrats on an amazing 18-year career, Francisco.
The Kansas City Chiefs and New England Patriots will face off tonight after Patriots quarterback Cam Newton tested positive for COVID-19. The original game was supposed to kick off yesterday at 4:25, but has been moved to Monday night at 7:05. Along with Newton, Chiefs practice squad quarterback Jordan Ta'amu tested positive over the weekend. Along with the Chiefs and Patriots, the game between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Tennessee Titans was canceled earlier in the week after 18 members of the Titans tested positive. The game has now been moved to Week 7 as the two teams will serve their bye week this week. The Tennessee Titans could face discipline after not following the NFL's protocols. Multiple teams and coaches have already been fined for singular violations, and if the Titans have one or more issues, they could be the next to be disciplined. The NFL and NFLPA will wrap up the investigation in a few days. They are looking for if protocols were violated on wearing the mandatory Keonsin tracking devices, leading to gaps in tracking data used in contact tracing, and whether individuals failed to timely report symptoms they or their family members were experiencing, among other things. After multiple Titans coaches tested positive, plexiglass dividers have been added in the upstairs coaching booth. The Titans will likely return to their deep clean building with enhanced protocols and other common sense changes. Now going to toss it over to Adam Maluso to give us a deeper look into the latest sports. Adam, take it away.
Thanks, Ethan. Well, the last several months since the restart of the NBA season have been full of action, to say the very least, and the NBA Finals are rolling along, with Game 4 taking place tomorrow night between the Miami Heat and the Los Angeles Lakers, with LA leading the series 2-1. In Game 3, the big man to step up was Jimmy Butler on the Heat, who helped fully make this series a competitive one, finishing with 40 points and 11 rebounds and 13 assists in Miami's 115-104 win on Sunday. The Heat are looking to come back and win their 4th NBA title, their first since 2013, while LeBron and the Lake Show are looking to cruise to their 17th straight title in franchise history, their first since 2010. The action gets going at 9 p.m. over on ABC and ESPN. Heading to the ice now, and the 2019-20 Stanley Cup playoffs officially ended last Monday with the Tampa Bay Lightning shutting out the Dallas Stars in Game 6 2-0 to win their 2nd Stanley Cup in franchise history. Braden Point and Victor Hedman starred for Tampa Bay in the win, with Hedman also winning the Conn Smythe Trophy as MVP for the playoffs. All teams now look ahead to the 2020 NHL Draft, which gets going tomorrow night at 7 p.m. over on NBCSN. To the gridiron now, and we'll start with the Steelers, as Ethan and Colby just mentioned, who had their Week 4 game against the Titans pushed back to Week 7 after a COVID-19 outbreak hit Tennessee hard the last several days. Even worse, the Titans have announced no negative tests, in the past 6 days, with 20 players now testing positive, but they aren't the only ones in jeopardy for the upcoming game. The Buffalo Bills are set to travel to Nissan Stadium next week in Week 5, but no update on the status of that game has been given as of yet. And finally, to some college football now, as the Pitt Panthers suffered a heartbreaking first loss of the season to North Carolina State on Saturday, 30-29 at Heinz Field. Kenny Pickett led with 411 passing yards for Pitt as well as 40 rushing yards, while DJ Turner was the leading receiver for the Panthers with 186 yards. The Panthers now look to rebound as they travel to Beantown for a matchup with the Boston College Eagles next Saturday. You can watch that at 4 p.m. on the ACC network. In the studio, I'm Adam Maluso, RMU-TV Sports.
Thanks, Adam. There will be trick-or-treating this year on Halloween in the city of Pittsburgh. The city of Pittsburgh announced on Monday as they urge COVID-19 safety protocols. The hours are 5 to 7 p.m. on Saturday, October 31st. The city is urging the following precautions for trick-or-treating this year. Residents are urged to trick-or-treat with family members, wear cloth face masks, as well as Halloween masks. Carry hand sanitizer, distribute candy by leaving it outside with no face-to-face interactions at the door. Follow social distancing guidelines on the sidewalks, and residents are urged not to attend indoor costume parties. Yet another Netflix project is looking to film in the Pittsburgh area, as the company is asking Allegheny County for permission to shoot a show in Hartwood Acres. There is no word on what the show is based upon. Now let's send it over to Austin to give us more on the weather. Austin?
Yeah, thank you, Ethan. As I mentioned earlier in the newscast, we got a high of 60 degrees today, but it's really not feeling that warm out. We're really closer to the low of 39 today. Humidity is 65%. We only have a 10% chance of rain. As I said earlier, there are some darker clouds, so do not be surprised if we do get a very light rain at some point in the day. Moving on to today's hourly forecast, it will be 56 degrees only a couple hours from now at 3 p.m. and 58 degrees at 6 p.m. with some clouds that are going to be continuing throughout the day. When we get closer to 9 o'clock, it'll be 51 degrees. It'll continue to get a little colder. And as we go into tomorrow, it's going to warm up a little bit. It's going to be 67 degrees. The low is definitely going to be higher than today's 39, 52 degrees. Humidity of 51% and another 10% chance of rain. So also do not look for any rain, but who knows, around this time we could get a slight pop-up shower. Now moving to today's 5-day forecast. Wednesday, 72 degrees with a low of 45. It's going to be a little bit sunny, but we're also going to get some clouds in there as well. On Thursday, 62 degrees with a low of 38, and sun going into Friday with a high of 68 degrees. The hottest day coming up in the week will be 74 degrees on Saturday. It'll be cloudy with a little bit of the sun peeking out, continuing on to Sunday with a high of 72 degrees and a low of 52. That's your weather. Let's send it back over to Ethan and Colby at the news desk.
Thank you for joining us for us at RMU Live. I'm Ethan Morrison.
And I'm Colby Sherwin. Stay safe, take care, and we'll see you next week.